Jesus' teachings on humility and meekness were revolutionary for his time, often turning social hierarchies upside down. In a Greco-Roman world that prized power, status, and self-assertion, Jesus presented these qualities not as weaknesses, but as essential strengths for entering the kingdom of heaven. The Beatitudes, a new standard. The most famous articulation of these values appears in the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the poor in spirit. This refers to spiritual humility, recognizing one's own spiritual bankruptcy and absolute dependence on God. Blessed are the meek. Jesus taught that the meek would inherit the earth. In the original Greek, praus, meekness, does not mean weakness. It describes power under control, like a disciplined stallion. It is the ability to endure injury with patience and without resentment. The model of a child. When the disciples argued over who would be the greatest in heaven, Jesus used a child as a living illustration. Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Matthew chapter 18 verses 3-4. In that era, children had no social status or legal rights. By telling his followers to become like them, Jesus was calling for a voluntary loss of status and an abandonment of ego. Leadership as service. Jesus fundamentally redefined what it means to be a leader. He explicitly told his followers not to model themselves after worldly rulers who lord it over others. The servant leader. The greatest among you will be your servant. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Matthew chapter 23 verses 11-12. Washing the disciples' feet. At the Last Supper, Jesus performed the chore of the lowest-ranking house slave. He did this to demonstrate that no task is too low for a follower of God and that true authority is found in service. Jesus as the primary example. Jesus didn't just teach these concepts, he lived them. He described himself specifically using these terms. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Matthew chapter 11 verse 29. Summary of key principles. Concept. Jesus' perspective. Ambition. Shifted from seeking titles to seeking ways to serve others. Response to conflict. Turn the other cheek, responding with restraint rather than retaliation. Social standing. Associating with the marginalized, tax collectors, sinners, rather than climbing the social ladder. Prayer. The humble tax collector who admitted his sin was justified over the prideful Pharisee. Are you looking at these teachings from a historical perspective, or are you interested in how they apply to leadership today? Please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you.